There's my Sport.
And that's not even Sport Plus or track mode.
Whoa, I gotta slow down.
Yeah, you do. Yeah. This takes off. I did before, but it's still mind-boggling.
Every time Mercedes brings us something,
Yes.
I really kind of hate it, because that just means we're gonna have to give it back. And this is at the top of the list. It is the 2024 Mercedes-AMG GLE63S. The one that we loved in 2021 has now been upgraded.
Yes, it's the mid-cycle refresh.
Yes.
So many of the things we liked are still here. It still has the crazy power and all that kind of stuff that we liked anyway. None of that has changed. It's new front fascia, new lights. There's changes in here.
I'm just happy being here.
There's changes to the rear lights.
Happy.
I know. This is actually in one of the new colors. They're offering 2 new colors.
Yes.
One is this blue. They're offering new 22s. This, of course, has that as well. It's a press car. It's loaded. It has everything. We haven't actually been told. It has to be the better part of 140 grand. These start at 120.
Has to be.
This has everything on it, so it's well over 130. It's got to be close to $140,000, which is frighteningly expensive, and it's really good.
Great cars, great roads, and all the reasons we love to drive.
Road trips, comparisons, test drives, and podcasts. This is Everyday Driver.
This is still powered by that brilliant 4-liter V8 twin-turbo, 603 horsepower, with an integrated starter generator. That is the 48-volt system that gives it an extra 21 horsepower for a grand total of 624 and 627 pound-feet of torque. That makes this 5,500-pound truck dance like it shouldn't, like no others do.
Absolutely,
all
like
of its
it shouldn't.
competition,
It
and I'm
takes
including
off.
Cayennes, even though I do want to drive the turbo and the GT, and they have a lot of power. But I love this AMG. It's so deceptive. There are people who recognize the stance of this and see the 325, 35 series, 22 tires out back and go, I wonder if that's fast.
Those tires are massive.
And then you show them how quick this thing is, and the power is endless.
Yeah.
And it's not just the power. It is the Mercedes experience. It's everything that they have improved upon, and now for this middle generation of the GLE, it's absolutely brilliant. I never want to get out. I never want to stop driving. This is what I want to take all the time. And the problem is, with the fuel economy, claimed 15.
You are in such serious trouble.
They claim 20 on the highway when you do the cylinder shut off.
You
And
get
it gives you the
all
little
the way to
indicator
ninth
up here.
gear.
And you're in 9th gear. And maybe you'll get something in the teens. But then around town, and then on on-ramps, and then you decide, you know what? I need to get past that person.
Yeah.
And then you do. And you look down, and you're going, that doesn't feel like 100. That doesn't feel like 8. What?
Yes. Yes.
It's insane. So imagine replacing the tires on this. They're 285 width up front.
Yeah.
Imagine replacing those tires and paying for the gas all the time in this. It's not just the purchase price. This is one of those Nissan GTR kinds of vehicles.
There is serious
cost
consumption.
Of ownership.
Serious consumption is waiting here.
Not just the purchase price.
But you're going to get in it every time. You can sit here and drive it somewhat normally, still get bad gas mileage, and be coddled. You can really be coddled. I mean,
every time.
We are currently doing this review with the massage seats.
The massage seats are going.
I have to let you know that. I mean,
excellent.
we're relaxed. It smells nice in here because, of course, it has the fragrance thing in the glove box that spurts out fragrance now. And then my son got in this and was like, "This car smells great." I was like, "That's not an accident, son.
Yes.
You're paying for that."
Mercedes
I mean, this
experience.
has all of the stuff that if you are sitting still or you're sitting in traffic, you're going to feel relaxed. It's very nice. But if you want to be aggressive, this is shockingly aggressive.
Among the revisions for this includes the new steering wheel. The functions are similar, but it's been very cleaned up, and it's easier to use than it ever has been. And right down here, your dials on the right, that's where you change from Comfort to Sport Plus. And then there's even Race. The checkered flag illuminates. And that means the Mercedes 4MATIC system can throw 100% of the torque to the rear wheels. Can you imagine having this on track? The last GLE63 we had, I mean, we're just littered with GLE63s.
It has been a couple years.
The last one we had
didn't
have the carbon ceramic brakes. So that, of course, pushes the price up. I can't imagine 5,500 pounds. I mean, this can do it. This can totally do it.
The thing is, you would have
Yikes.
a fantastic laughter-filled day on track in this. The terrifying part would be the end of your day when you figure out how many things you've consumed to have that laugh factor and how much that one day on track is going to cost you. Because my guess is carbon ceramics may survive, but all your brakes, all your tires start again.
Yikes.
After one track day. Because a 5,500 pound SUV that is this high ride height and everything going on, that is just going, it's going to be a consuming monster. It's going to be a consuming monster if you drive it normally.
Monster.
It is.
If you're watching because you want a GLE63S, use autotempest.com to search all the car markets and even research inventory at dealers.
Autotempest helps you search nationwide across all the used car sites, including Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace. Plus, you can get email alerts so you never miss a listing.
We use it to research for our podcast, to search for crazy road trip cars, and just because we like to dream. And AutoTempest can even help with new cars, pricing out the options and getting local dealer quotes. So if you're looking for new GLE63Ss or previous generations, autotempest.com/everyday can get you the help you need. AutoTempest. All the cars, one search.
Yeah, I want to drive this all the time everywhere, but it is going to be expensive because you can't just putter around in this thing. You can't allow yourself to do that.
You wouldn't. If you're going to, you buy the lesser model.
Yeah.
But why would you do that? I mean,
I'm sure that I don't know.
This is a hidden sports car. It does sports car feeling things, and you marvel at the fact that it can over and over again.
Yeah.
It's just do not ask for the check. Do not. I mean, you will horrify yourself. Yeah.
I'll park over here. So among the changes to this beast are the MBUX system. We have really, really liked the MBUX system, and this is the second generation of that. Although it's my understanding this is eventually going to go away as well in favor of the new one that they're putting in all the EQS.
The super screen environment.
Like something different. It's MB something else.
There's screens everywhere.
Yeah.
You've got like screens in the cup holders. This system we like a lot. This has had slight revisions. It's incorporating more. I think it's Google is now involved here more.
A lot more Google
to be before. So I guess everybody needs more Google.
In Google.
But it still has Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, so all those things still exist here, which is very nice. It's incredibly customizable. There are a ton of monitoring screens in the center or screens you can pick for how your gauges look, and you can mix and match and move things around, and you can do all kinds of stuff. It is great. And it is very intuitive.
Yeah, it's just easier to use because that little cat's tongue on the last steering wheel, it was a little bit difficult to use. But this one, if you go to your home button, you can immediately pull up different skins for all of your instrument panel here. So you can go to
fast change,
Sport, Super Sport. It's really fascinating. So all the infographics are very clean. When you're driving this at night, it's like flying an aircraft because you have your head-up display, which is color.
And massive.
In addition to the mood lighting that you can change the color or have it do the multicolor thing, and all your screens plus your steering wheel, and these are little LCDs down here. There's so much information going on. I mean, it's very satisfying, but it was similar to that EQS that we drove. There's so much going on. I mean, this is the day and age we live in. We just need screens all the time, apparently. Anybody that tries to kind of flex on you a little bit, you're gone.
I was driving this the other day and got an acknowledging head nod from a guy in a GT3 911. He was like, yeah.
Are you serious?
Oh, yeah. Because he was behind me at the light, and I was like, oh, okay, let's leave the light. And I left the light like a bullet. And he was like, okay, all right, that does something. And it sounds amazing. It sounds like some World War II fighter when it goes by. I mean, this is angry, and it does all kinds of things that it shouldn't. But I continue to marvel about the fact that this does all of those sporting things, and yet feels so very luxurious. Mercedes obviously sells Maybach versions of certain things like their big GLS, the one above this, and I keep asking myself why. And also, this doesn't look big. It has shocking second row space and more actual back space than my Cayenne does. This is genuinely roomy, both in all of the seats and in the cargo space. This has got a lot of space.
It's huge. As far as luxury is concerned, what more are you getting in something like a Maybach or a Rolls-Royce or an Urus or a Bentley or something that costs twice or 3 or 4 times as much as this?
Yeah, that's a fair point.
Short of a Ferrari badge with a naturally aspirated V12 in it. What are you getting as far as power or comfort or luxury or convenience? Because it's all at the highest level in this. I'm not trying to justify the price, but a little bit, I guess.
But you are asking a question about I hate to say the word value when we're talking about $140,000. There is a breaking point at which what other more luxurious thing that I'm going to enjoy more is possible beyond what's here.
Every aspect of the experience and power and usability, how it looks and how it makes you feel, is top level. I have never heard of a better stereo system than this. I have never heard a cleaner, clearer, more powerful. We don't talk about stereos in cars very much because it can't be translated into a YouTube video.
If you're watching it on your laptop speakers or on your phone, it is irrelevant for us to talk about how good it sounds.
Yes, even if we had music playing, it can't translate the sound and the theater. And that transports you into a different feeling. And that just means Mercedes-AMG at the highest level. This is truly aspirational, even though it's expensive, but there are things costing so much more than this. SUVs.
Yes, yes.
And I want to be here. I don't want to give it back.
As a family do-it-all SUV, I think this checks every possible box you could want to check because, let's be honest, you probably aren't going to off-road most SUVs.
No.
But this does have off-road mode.
The camera makes the hood invisible.
It does tow 7,700 pounds.
Yes,
which
name
is
the
a
category.
lot. So you could still tow the family boat or whatever. I mean, do you want nasty post-boat day to get in this car?
Post-boat day.
I mean, we all know what that's like. That's just nasty stuff. But do you want that in this car? But if this is your family vehicle, this doesn't look big and has a lot of space, which we would like to say is true of all SUVs. But many of them, you get in and you go, where did the space go? This has more space than it appears, which is what an SUV should do.
The only reason I'm going to let you drive
is because that's the thing we do.
Well, it's the thing we do, but I'm getting still into a Mercedes.
You are still, yes.
I still get to experience this. So it's not quite an even trade, but at least I do get to ride in a...
You're so very nice.
Guess I have
You're so very nice to let me
you
drive. I'm sorry. You're such a nice guy. All right, something that is new on this MBUX round 2. These dials that Paul was talking about are very interesting, especially the left one, because you can go through the screen here and you can assign what the buttons on the left side do. So there's a top one and a bottom one, and you can pick them here, you can pick them here, but you can also select which are the two kind of fast categories you want to. Like right now we have it for traction control off. And the sports suspension setting, those are the two ones here that you can select, but that's because we changed them since we got the car. There's a litany of things you can put on these hotkeys here, so that is something you can do that's individual.
That bezel doesn't turn, it's fixed on the left one, but it does turn on the right one.
So it has the two little finger buttons, and that depends on what you picked as your hotkeys for the different settings that you like for the car. Of course, we are in sport mode, that is the other setting. Mercedes does it differently than just about everybody else. They do the stalks differently, they do the seat controls differently. We get in so many things, I'm almost always confused when I jump in the Mercedes. The turn signal is now the gear selector, and the wipers are
the
different
wipers
controls,
are put it in gear, and
everything is a little bit different than everybody else.
Yeah.
But what's simultaneously frustrating is also genius. Because if you're a person who likes Mercedes and you've had a bunch of Mercedes, you're going to climb in any other brand's car and be like, I don't like this. This doesn't feel like what I'm used to.
That's a great point.
So you're going to come back to the Mercedes. It's only because you and I drive all kinds of things that I even notice that it's different. I'm not saying it doesn't work. I'm saying it takes getting used to if you're used to driving anything else. I'm going to talk about this steering wheel here because, as you mentioned before, it used to have just little tiny thumb buttons that were haptic and everything else was buttons. Now this is haptic palooza here. There's actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
You're not a haptic kind of a guy.
There's 6 stalks on this steering wheel, 6 cross beams, and the 4 up here like as wings that match the front grille. Each of them is a different haptic disaster. I don't like haptic stuff. I like actual buttons.
Yes.
Look, I will give Mercedes credit that these work, but you have a haptic slider for your thumb for volume.
For volume, that took me a little bit to get used to. I'll admit to that.
But here's the thing: don't press into the volume because then you mute it.
Right.
So you have to just slide, but don't press. Press if you want to mute.
Slight counterpoint, and that is, at the Mercedes level, little things, little intuitive things, little fidgety kinds of things. You're not driving a bus.
True.
There's a lot of tactility and sensation kinds of things that make you interact with it in a very fine motor control kind of way that makes it feel expensive. It's a very fine kind of detail. You have to control it in a gentle or deliberate sort of way. It did take me a while to get used to that slider, and then once I did get used to it, again, we can apply that to anything except Volkswagen interfaces.
Everybody's doing haptics right now, and I think they're overused, and I think they're overused here. If they don't bother you, that's fine. I would rather have, at this level, a really nicely crafted button that feels very nice to press.
Yeah.
Okay? I just prefer that. I think that feels more expensive than haptics. That is not a slap at Mercedes because everybody's doing haptic controls. They've got a ton of them here. I do want to reiterate that this interface is phenomenal. It's one of the better ones out there. I just put my head back in the seat.
Did you about just
because it's just
collapse?
Awesome. It's just great.
Awesome.
I mean, this is absurdly expensive. But you drive it and you do actually go, oh, I kind of see it. It actually puts other things more expensive than this on notice and goes, what are you offering at more?
Right.
And that makes me and you, because we don't have this kind of money, think about one of these as a used purchase. And then a cold shiver runs down my spine because this does so many things.
You don't think it'd be reliable long term?
I don't know.
Like if you bought this at 5 or 6 years old, you think you'd be, if you were the second or third owner?
60 or 80,000 miles.
You're thinking,
starting to wear out.
No?
This is so technologically on the cutting edge.
Yeah.
There's so much going on here with the suspension and the huge wheels and the wear items. I don't know. Because then you have not just the purchase price, but now you are maintaining all those things that have worn out because the car has 80,000 miles.
You're going to be replacing
huge
tires.
And these new 22-inch wheels are gorgeous, aren't they? But they're 22s.
They look great.
They look great.
I mean, you want the 22s. You want the 325 width out back.
That's astounding.
It's unreal.
This
sits so right, though.
This looks incredible. You could get a lesser GLE that is not the AMG, and you would enjoy most of the nice luxury amenities that are here.
Certainly.
You would lose the laughter-inducing engine that this has. The 53, which is right below this, has been increased to well in the middle of the 400 horsepower range, try to get it closer to this. You could get the non-AMG and still find it a wonderful place to be. The thing this does is the Jekyll and Hyde thing, where there's just the monster lurking at all time and poke it when you're ready and then just laugh because you can take down sports cars at the light.
Only when your wallet's ready.
Yes, that's true as well.
Because you're going to be thinking about that was about $8 right there.
And we drove this before, and the 0 to 60 is 4 seconds, and now Mercedes is claiming that it's under 4 seconds. I'm not sure why, because nothing's really changed.
The 2021 version claimed at 4.10 to 60. We have not actually done the testing.
These are Mercedes numbers.
This one claims 3.7.
That's a big shift. I can't imagine that there's that much of a difference.
3.7 seconds in a 5,500-pound vehicle that's not an EV.
A vehicle that can do 0 to 60 in 4 seconds is as much power as any person will ever need in the modern time. And this does it.
I'm going to take the glass half full approach to a used version of this. I would aspire to own this at 50,000 miles, 40,000 miles, somewhere in there, and take it to 100. I would. I want one of these so much. I can't afford one brand new that I would wait to be second owner. I mean, even then, it's still really expensive. But
this is where Autotempest is your friend.
I want this.
Autotempest.com/everyday. You're going to start working for years to come now to watch these slowly descend.
I'm going to be watching them.
And you know what? The first generation, the first half of this generation, this is the refresh.
The 0.1.
Apply
Stuttgart thinking.
We loved that one.
Yes, we did.
So those are going to come down even more, Paul. Maybe you can get one sooner.
There you
go.
go.
You go to Autotempest and you can search for GLE-AMG 63Ss and watch them come down, and maybe we'll take the risk. We've owned crazy old expensive sedans. Maybe we should do it with crazy old expensive SUVs.
Yes.
We could have that expensive challenge. We would laugh. When it's running, we would laugh.
Or cry when it's not.
We would cry when the bill came. But this is a vehicle for extreme emotion. Have all the emotions in your GLE. That's where we're going.
Brilliant. I want one.